In 2008, we visited once-a-day dairy farmers Shane and June Birchall to look at efforts they'd made, in conjunction with Environment Bay of Plenty, to mitigate the effects of their farming operation at its environmentally sensitive catchment by Lakes Rotomahana and Okaro. 8 years on, they continue to make improvements. This year, they were recognised with 3 awards in the region's Balanced Farm Environment Awards.
Property's 290 hectares, easy rolling to quite steep on the young stock block. 190 hectares, roughly, of milking platform. Calving down 530, mainly crossbred cows this season. Our strength is probably the family unit, just the way we all work together. If one of us falls over, there's another 2 of us lined up to take on that job. It's not an easy property. It is quite labour intensive, mainly with the contour of the place. I've got my son and my daughter working with me on the farm, both pretty much full time. The son runs a small contracting business as well, so he's on and off a little bit. I've got another 1 full-time labour unit and then a couple floating that come in and out when we need them. We're on very wet soils. I call it Rotomahana mud, which is actually the bottom out of one of the swamps or lakes when Tarawera blew up about 120 odd years ago. The contour and the heavy soil, it's something we are really focused on. Not doing any damage, and this is where the herd homes have been a huge investment, but just worth their weight in gold really to us. The environment side of things is a huge part of our business actually. We've invested a lot in the way of time and money into wetlands. And just the general farm health, the soils, the pasture quality, bringing in herbs, plantain and that onto the sidelings, just those deeper rooted plants. They're all just tools that we've got working on the farm. We're in 3 catchments here. We drain into the Waikato on 80 hectares of the property. We've got another 120 that goes to Lake Rotomahana, and the balance of it is to Lake Okaro. My daughter does most of the environment side of things now. It's a huge part of the job. There's a lot of time involved in just keeping up with what's going on, rules that are coming in, new science. It's just all part of it. You know, we kicked it off over 10, 12 years ago, really, just taking the farm forward environmentally.
It must have been 2005, 2006. We had a really wet paddock out the front, and we decided we were just going to fence it off and plant it up in natives because it wasn't overly productive anyway. And then Environment Bay of Plenty approached us because they'd wanted to do a wetlands on the lake side of the road and wondered if they could have a bit of that swampy area on our side as well. So we decided that there'd be a good use for that land. In, I think, 2007, the wetlands construction started. All up it's 2.2 hectares. We got 60 hectares that are under Rule 11, so they're capped for stocking rate, nitrogen application and a few other things. We've developed our own nutrient management plan that's not with anyone, that's just our own thing. We put together a catchment group a few years back, and it was everyone within the Okaro catchment, and we did 4 years of overseer to make sure that everyone was within or under their capped benchmarks for NMP, and we were definitely under, so we've made huge changes since we were capped.
I think it was the start of our 9th season now. We switched over to once a day. It's been interesting. It's something that's actually worked really well on this farm. We've increased production per cow and per hectare and reduced costs. We've revamped our whole effluent system. About 4 seasons ago we put in this line pond. There's better than 90 days holding. We've developed these weeping walls. They've been a huge asset really. We're stopping all the silt and fibre from going into the ponds, which is going to make the other end of it a hell of a lot easier. There's only water going in. There's no worries about sediment in the pond, no worries about having to clean it out later on. We're not going to lose our storage capacity. We've got the machinery here because we've got herd homes as well, so we've got the machinery here that we can clean these silt traps, keep them ticking along. There's a month and a half storage at least in each of these 2 bunkers here. This one obviously full now. We'll start pumping into the other one, and this one will dehydrate down, so we've got a nice dry product in a month and a half. And sort of around that October, November period, we'll come in and empty them out when soil moisture levels are down and we can do something with it. Everything's fed here. There's no worries about having to be out in the paddock with the machinery. We went to around 180 to 190 cows in each barn. So that looks after all our mature cattle. We've got a mob of 100 odd R2s that are wintered outside, but just a small mob like that is actually reasonably easy to look after. Originally they were going to be used just when we really needed them, but now they've become quite a big tool on the farm. The cows stay in here for up to 40 hours in a row. We feed them grass every second day, and then they get ad lib supplement fed around the outside of the barns. They're comfortable. Through this last period, the last 2 weeks, we've had pretty horrific weather here, been cold and wet. And you'd open the gate up and the girls wouldn't come out. No, we'll just stay here, you just bring us some tucker. So we got to the stage there where we'd leave them in for an extra day if they wanted to, and we'd just chuck a bit more hay and a bit more silage around, and they're more than comfortable. Yeah.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.